If you have seen Liz Truss's recent, I should say, most recent appearance before the Foreign Affairs Select Committee, you'll remember one example they had of Chris Brandt. In fact, there were two big clashes, really. The first one was when she was asked the question of, so you've been bringing up all these human rights issues that you're claiming are a big success. Can you give us an example? To which Liz Truss cannot even give an example. All she does is just cite these countries, which again, not an example of how you've been crowing about. Oh yes, the UK. We're going to stand up for all these, human rights. That's what we're about. We want to ensure that the rights of various different groups, minorities, whatever you want around the world, we are going to stand up for them. Oh, so can you give us an example of one time where that's happened? That was literally her response. That was her response. And it got even worse. It got even worse because we had been saying, the question was put to her, hey, Liz Truss, you've been talking and threatening to essentially break international law. But in the past couple of weeks, I think it was brought up that 6 times that week, the Home Office had tweeted out to various different countries to remember to fulfill their international obligations. And now we've got, of course, Liz Truss threatening to basically tear up the Northern Ireland Protocol and the whole Brexit deal that Boris Johnson promised was oven ready and was set to go and would get Brexit done. And that's not the worst of it. That's not the worst of it. You've probably been looking at this thing over here while I've been talking. We'll get to that in a moment. But before we do get to that, please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page and one foundation link called Buy Me a Coffee, where you can, buy me a coffee. And as always, thank you very much to all those people who do help and support the channel that way. And of course, down below, there is the YouTube thank you button. And also, you can subscribe to the channel that way, and you get all sorts of little bells and whistles when you do that. So, thank you very much to everyone who does support the channel. And of course, on with today's show. So, over we go to London Economic with the title of Now the Chinese Embassy. Yes, the Chinese Embassy trolls the government over Brexit. Relations have never been as bad with the UK government ministers, Ireland's Deputy Minister Prime Minister has said. Tulsi Leo Varadkar said that he believes the UK is, quote, not being even-handed when it comes to the Northern Ireland Protocol. MPs voted earlier this week to give the Northern Ireland Protocol Bill a second reading. The legislation is designed to override parts of the post-Brexit deal that allay concerns over its impact on the UK. It comes after the DUP said it would not nominate ministers to allow a new Stormont executive to be formed until the UK takes actions on its concerns around the protocol. However, the move by the UK has been branded as illegal and a clear breach of international law. Mr. Varadkar said that the UK's bid to unilaterally change the protocol was a strategic mistake. He told the BBC's Northern Ireland The View programme that the EU would not be threatened by the UK's approach to the ongoing standoff. The British government had given a commitment in the past that it would be even-handed in its approach to Northern Ireland, he said. So, how could this Brexit mess get any more bizarre? Indeed, it could. The Chinese embassy in Ireland responded to a tweet from Boris Johnson in which he said, 25 years ago, we made a promise to the people of Hong Kong. We intend to keep it. In response, the Chinese embassy in Ireland wrote, 2 years ago, we made a promise to the Northern Ireland Protocol. We are determined to break it. And here below, you can see that particular tweet. And this hasn't been good. When you've got a country like China who has its own, issues. Let's not. We won't, shall we say, go into those issues at the moment. But obviously, particularly around concerns about Hong Kong and the other stuff that's going on over there at the moment. Not really just there, but obviously the Uyghur stuff as well. There's a ton of stuff going wrong in China. But when China can turn around to you and indicate that, yeah, you made a promise to sort of us about Hong Kong. How do you know you're not going to keep your promises with us? Now, bear in mind, China has already gone and broken those sort of, or is, should we say, in the process of breaking those international commitments and that deal. But it just goes to show you that this and breaking international agreements has consequences. This does not look good on the world stage. It has damaged the UK's reputation as being a straight shooter, that we have the reputation of being good negotiators. Well, Brexit has, shall we say, firmly thrown that out the window. Certainly. And as you know, the Varadkar said there's, the EU's not going to be intimidated by all this. And in fact, bizarrely enough, as we said, if there was such a problem with the protocol, why not use the mechanisms in the very deal that you signed and trigger Article 16? Frost, when he was the Brexit minister, would almost chime like a bell on the hour, every hour. Article 16, Article 16, Article 16. That's what he used to practically say, on an hourly basis. So why not trigger Article 16? Why go through all this stuff? Well, partly because it is of the DUP. And as I have heavily suspect, I will continue to claim, this was the DUP's plan all along. I think that they knew they were going to end up in second place. And as far as they were concerned, unless they were first, they were not going to enter power sharing. I think even if the Northern Ireland Protocol was like ironclad, gold-plated perfect, and the election results came out the same way as they did, the DUP would be going out and say, this Northern Ireland Protocol, it's absolutely awful, it's terrible, we've got to get rid of it. And even now, after this vote, which I said they would do, they've moved the goalposts. Because, first of all, it was, we're not going to go into installment elections, back into forming a government installment until the government does something about the protocol. Then it became, well, we're not going to go back until there's been a vote. And then it became, oh no, we're not going to go back until there's been, goes to the Lords. Until now, the current statement is, we are not going to go through until this has been passed. And the problem is, with that amount of time, that means there will be another general election or election to the Stormont Assembly, not a general election, but you get what I mean. There will be another election for the Stormont Assembly. This is what I have been talking about for a while when it comes to the DUP. The DUP do not care so long as they get back into power. If they got back into power in that first place, of course they're going to go back into Stormont. Of course they are. But even if we do go back into another into another election at Stormont, the chances of them winning and coming first aren't very good. They will ultimately come second, and there is very little chance of a third party coming around to knock them out of that position. So, as we've said multiple times when it comes to talking about the DUP, they do not care. They will cause crisis after crisis after crisis until they get what they want, which is the complete dismantlement of the protocol, but also the dismantlement of the Good Friday Agreement as well. So, unfortunately, that is the state of play in Northern Ireland at the moment. But As always, thank you very much for watching. Please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below there are links to my Patreon page and a one-off link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can, well, buy me coffee. And as always, thank you very much to all those people who do help and support the channel that way. And of course, we'll see you all